Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they played as karmic themes to help you understand why everything's playing out the way that it is. And the reason why is a lot of times when we're in the relationship, we get so emotional, we get stuck in our perception of what's happening. But, our perception a lot of times isn't accurate. And it's not accurate because we have spiritual blockages. And those blockages distort our perception about ourselves and the world around us. And then our habits and our behaviorisms are built on those perceptions. And so we have to do things outside of ourselves to create balance, wholeness. Understand the imbalance is really that you have fragmentation, parts of you that you detach from, that you disassociated from due to the past experiences that kept you locked in a lower perception about yourself. You wouldn't know that it was out of balance until an experience played out. Because again, things happen on a spiritual level before they actually manifest on the physical level, which means that you're getting the test before the actual lesson. So a lot of times we're like, well, I didn't know that, but if I would have known, ignorance is a spiritual disease. It's the most devastating because most people wouldn't choose to stay ignorant. They'd say, like, if I was told, if I was educated, but where did people go back in the day when they needed healing? They went to a therapist, they went to a psychiatrist. And we know that it took years and years and years and years for them to actually figure out what was wrong, and a long time to get off the couch, if they ever even got off the couch, meaning they might have healed their mind. But healing comes in the actual not just integration, but the transmutation process, which is all about taking that negative energy from those experiences and channeling them into a new version of yourself to birth something. This is why, again, we have the phoenix that rises from the ashes. We see fire and ice, the two polar opposites, one representing divine masculine, one representing divine feminine, which is what we're all strive to do. Because when we are doing that, we're actually in the energy of unconditional love, which is the energy of the universe, which is the energy of God, which is the energy that when we are connected to someone, we can feel. It's called empathy, sensitivity. So again, it's a psychic connection. It's not just a, physical connection. There's one of ESP through the heart and mind, and that's when we know that we've connected to a past life soulmate. So usually what we see here with the phoenix that rises from the ashes, well, there's usually like a um, big healing that's going on because it's the actual embodiment. The rising of the ashes is that. Again, we know that if Phoenix burns and it goes all the way to the ashes, there's nothing left. It destroys its life, but to recreate itself. And that we all evolve and we all in time have to recreate ourselves. Now, I never know why I start my readings the way that I do. It's just whatever spirit wants to talk about. But we usually see the karmic theme playing out within the reading. And it's just to give you a little bit more understanding of what's happening. So again, if you're new to my channel, know that the readings have a therapy style to them to help you to heal, to help you integrate the spiritual lesson. You are the alchemist of your life. You have to take the information and apply it though and ground it. So let's look at the underlying energy. Oh, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box. I'm really excited. I'm getting some really beautiful bracelets from Otter Spirit for the holidays. I mean, really nice with abundance, prosperity. Like I wanted to pick all manifestation cards. Because again, not just money, but money, abundance, we tend to associate abundance with money, but abundance is, in every area, emotionally as well. When we're abundant, we have so much that it overflows. Okay, the underlying energy is vanity. Hold on a second. We're just gonna pull grief. I feel like you're in separation from someone that cares a lot about what other people think. And so this person really did feel great about themselves. I feel like they either went through a divorce, they lost a company, they've lost, so they don't have the material resources that they used to have within their finances. And so I feel like this person is in a place of grief because they're looking around and they're saying, well, I gambled it all away. They gambled it all away, but they thought they were too big to fail. And so this person is still hiding behind, the illusion of what they want people to perceive that they are, but it's becoming very exhausting. And because again, grief is really tiresome when we're in a place of grief. We're stuck in the past. It's almost like this person's fighting to to not have that phoenix, like crash and burn moment. Like they're trying to avoid the karmic consequences is what I'm trying to get at, but they already know that it's happening and they can't stay detached. So, you know, when this person, I feel like they've lived this experience before. Like it's so grief tends to be one of those emotions that really needs to be integrated. Otherwise, it keeps us stuck in the past. And where again, this person has a lot of anxiety and worry. So that's what happens when a person's stuck in the past. What it means is that every decision that they make is based on the past experience which was traumatic. So this person is trying to figure out what's going to happen, and they're pretty strategic normally, but this is just creating a lot of mind chatter. This person isn't getting any sleep. They have a lot of worry. There's a lot of anxiety because they're trying to predict what's going to happen in the future because they don't like what's going on now. So they're not even grounded. They're not even grounded, and that's really what it is. And so I feel like how this relates to you is they had a relationship with you, but they were always stubborn. It was their way or the highway. And I feel like what happened is you became intolerant to them acting like they don't really care. On an emotional level, you're like, I'm tired of getting nothing. And really, like this person was very guarded with you. They wouldn't be transparent about their feelings. They wouldn't, if anything, they tried to make you feel less than. And again, by neglecting you, not giving you the time and the energy. So what happened is you stayed in a place of disappointment and this person knew that you were hurting, that they weren't giving you the time. They knew you wanted the time. They were being petty. Again, and they didn't have any guilt. Now they're in a place of guilt, and that's really what it is. But they're very prideful. Again, caring a lot about what other people perceive. This person's very vain. Again, and there's a part of them that doubts quite highly that you'll take them back. This person resents themselves and understand because they resent themselves, they are projecting a little bit of that resentment onto you because you're making this person look at what they did. They're stuck in a place of guilt, but it's not just with you what happened with you. This person's dealing with other stuff that is kind of making them like not like be able to move when when someone crashes and burns, it means that it's almost like the universe comes in and does a clean sweep of the person's life, of everything that was imbalanced in this person's life, because this person was imbalanced character-wise, and there's karmic consequences for that. That's why I said they were either married and cheated, or they owned a business and they again stole money or cheated, or this person just has that, is always trying to get over it, is always, strategic. And the thing is, they were that way with you too. And so nothing is in this person's life. And they're actually disgusted with themselves. They're disgusted because, hey, they've lived through this experience before. So they're becoming very angry because they know that they ruined the trust in this relationship. And so, I mean, they're stuck in the past. So this is the issue. Now, person can't stay stuck in the past forever. But the problem is when we see the phoenix, and that's the topic pretty much. The spirit keeps saying, like, it's very important that you realize that this person is crashing and burning. So they're not, they were trying to resist it, but they're either way, they already know that their life is over the way that it used to be, like where that they're gonna the mask is gonna come off. People are gonna see their life for who they are today, and they don't like who they are today. So again, they were hiding behind, a facade, and that facade only worked if this person was in a lower character, right? So that's what happened. Where, I feel like they were in and out of a toxic relationship, where like whoever they were with, this karmic, it was on and it was off and it was on and it was off. And I felt like you met them along the way, but what happened is that there were real feelings with you. The feelings that they had for that person, the trust was gone. The intimacy was gone. This person didn't have passion for that person anymore. And so that karmic was always creating drama. And this person was like continually like either drinking too much or smoking weed too much or taking pills to like deal with the situation, to stay in that connection. But they were also in their lower energies when you came along. So there was this sense of passion because this person connected to you. They could feel the chemistry, is what I'm trying to say. So the soulmate connection is spiritual connection. But this person's like, they're not going to change their entire life, so they're going to control it, and so everything was a power struggle from this person not wanting to show their emotions, to not really wanting to be transparent with you, to even controlling their own life. So, like, this person couldn't even deal with this type of connection when you came along. They have, again, love blocks. That's why they were able to stay with that karmic, because they lived compartmentalized. And compartmentalized means that they live fragmented. So that person, that karmic, became like the cleaning lady, the chauffeur, the, maybe the breadwinner, whatever it is, it's like served a purpose. And that karmic emotionally wasn't getting anything. So this person must have been giving on a financial level to keep that codependent connection, you know, the facade, the illusion. And the illusion is that everything looked good on the outside, but there was a lot of love blocks. And so a lot of this person had a lot of secrets, which they're cheating double life in order to stay with that situation. So when you came along, obviously that they were not in a place to even be able to be in a relationship, but they cared more about the facade also of what you thought about them. So they gave you less hoping that you would just get caught up in like romance where it would just turn into a fling and where you were like seeing, well, you're not giving me anything. So it was all about control. It was all about dominance because this person was living like a double life. And again, we're going to say it again, all to protect the self-image. It was all about what other people think. And so I feel like this person is like really going through it right now, and you just happen to be part of that equation. I mean, you're a good person. They really had feelings for you. Um, did they regret what they were doing when they were doing it? No, because they were in a very low consciousness, staying connected to that karmic, and thinking, I'm not going to leave. I'll just live, compartmentalize it, where you'll be everything, but I just won't get my passion from you. I'll get my passion from people that I have flings with. So that's the way that they treated you, like a fling. This is again where you like saw that. And the fact that you saw that showed that you have good character, showed that you like it made this person have respect for you. They didn't like what you were doing because hey, they didn't get what they wanted. But again, it showed that you're different from other people. Understand this person played the game because it worked for them. So it's not so much of anything except for this person had more fear of changing that situation. So it's just easier to get sex outside of the connection. And now what's happened is that their life is falling apart and this person's angry and they feel inadequate, which is why they were in a friggin' codependent relationship to begin with, right? With that karmic, and the karmic was all jealous. The karmic feels like a little bit like a victim. Your person feels like a victim, even though they're not. They didn't want to deal with you saying anything in the beginning because, again, they saw it as criticism because they feel inadequate, but also it was like, I don't have to. They became stubborn and self-righteous, meaning I don't have to listen to you because, hey, I'm never leaving that karmic. So your criticism, like, again, you see this person like annoyed by that person's criticism, like they don't have a reason. See, this person made a lot of money at one time, but understand there was a lot of trauma. So even though they were able to make money, they lose their money. The person keeps living the same karmic loop over and over and over again, where they destroy their life. And they destroy their life because they compartmentalize in relationships and it creates intimacy issues. And that's because they come in very sexual, and where if you're not setting your boundaries, you're becoming everything that they want you to become, and you abandon yourself because they're very controlling. With you, they couldn't control you. And so they respect you. They still have a connection to you. They always had a connection to you, but it was again about passion. You hold to a certain, standard, so you're intimidating to this person because they have inner child wounds. So the judgment that, they perceive that you're giving them, they actually have that towards themselves because they don't like themselves. So this person needs to strive for balance in their life. They need to stop manipulating, and they definitely need to stop checking out. So again, that's this person like avoids because they don't know how to fix it. People that are stuck in a place of feeling intimidated, not good enough, they keep sabotaging their life. They have shame, they have guilt. These are heavy energies. They're stuck in the past. Again, worried about the future. So that's trying to figure it all out where really life is an unfoldment process. This person's stuck in a trauma. And then what happens is they recreate that same trauma where they lose everything. They crash and they burn and they have to build themselves up, and then they get to a certain place and they get cocky, and then the behaviorisms come out because they have no balance, and then it crashes and burns. And so, yes, there was a past life connection, but this person was not ready for this type of relationship. They were in a karmic contract when they met you. And again, that where there was a lot of betrayal going on. This person did not have an open heart because, again, that compartmentalization, created a lot of, anger, betrayal to that karmic wasn't happy with. This person destroyed their life. And again, they were in a place of, I'm not going to give you any time because you're actually serious. You're real. And I don't know what to do with that. I can have a fling. I don't know what else to do. So this is why this person is in a place of guilt because, they see that they really burnt a bridge, and not just with you, but with other people, like important people in their life. They sabotage their life. So we have to say, why would you attract this person into your life? Because as far as right now, we really don't see them doing anything. I mean, we can ask if they're going to do something, but this person isn't ready to like be in anything. They're in their drama, and they're going to have to climb their way out. So if that's why you don't really feel them, that's the reason why. Now, would they say you're going to come back? I mean, what it's like, I just feel like this person is not there yet. It's like I feel like I'm not good enough for you. Um, because this person tends to abandon people to make themselves feel more important, which is what I'm staying here for a good time, not a long time, because they were stuck in a karmic relationship. So this person needs to figure it out, is what Spirit's saying. It's not going to tell you, which means that you need to do healing, because you're a mirror of who and what come into your life. And I understand most people would not want to take this person back. But for the 1% of people that like to live on the edge, and like to, that drama, because that's what this person would be bringing to the table, um, you see, they're just not capable because they're digging themselves out of a hole. So they need someone to that they can utilize their resources. This person never figures it out on their own. And that's why they create the same thing. They do the same thing. Get out of one relationship. Again, everything's great. Everything's good. They build. Then this person gets bored because again they never had to work for it. They never opened up their heart. They never respected that person puts up with it and winds up being everything except for what their wants them to be. I don't want to be the cleaning woman or man, and or just like the house person, or that person that takes care of the kids, or the person that I want a full relationship. I want my person to be here, not be here, but be checked out, off and searching for something else because there's a lack. Where that's why this person then gets comfortable in the relationship and tries to go out and find that lack, but does so through their addictions, and they destroy their life, is what we see, right? So that's why, this person is in a karmic loop. And so you have to say, you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. Why would you attract this person into your life? Well, Spirit says, well, we see self-sabotage, neglect, and disassociation. So this tells me if a parent was so busy in their own life that they just couldn't give you the love, or you grew up with an abusive parent where, again, it wasn't just psychologically, but it was that the parent just didn't put any time, didn't give you any time, expected you to raise yourself, figure things out on your own, where the neglect. Kids need support. Kids need grounding. They need grounding, right? So what happens is that the self-sabotaging behaviorisms comes from not loving yourself. So again, being the healer of the family, overgiving, overdoing to the point that you abandon yourself, trying to get love from outside of yourself, and then just winding up, with the same energy of that parent that didn't nurture you and didn't love you, where they neglected you, they didn't give you anything. So now you're attracted to a person that neglects you, that abandons you. Now, it's not a blame game, but we have to understand where the trauma came from. Otherwise, we really can't let go. We have to bypass the reptilian mind, and the reptilian mind is all about survival. It's not 100% accurate because we hold all our wounds inside that part of our mind. So, there will be like a lack of grounding. But this dance card is that represents to me that first and second chakra. And dancing is very grounding. It's very here and now, but it's also creative. And so that second chakra, we can go with the flow of life when we're balanced, and that's when we're grounded, and that's when we're, you know, we're going to be connected to not just our physical body, but to the higher self, that God part of self. So we're always emotionally fulfilled. That's not, and it's not from just like a connection with God. It's the connection to your passion, to the things that you love, that connects you to God, that connects you to your purpose, that makes one whole. It's so, again, you weren't allowed to have an individuality, so you didn't dream. And I say that because space, it's like it just almost feels like empty. Like, and trauma will do that. If the child feels that they have to do everything on their own and they're not supported, and if anything, the parent's always in a bad mood, well, then the child is not going to shrink themselves. They're going to do what's easiest, especially if they grow up in an environment where they didn't feel safe. They've been programmed to believe that the world's not safe, when meanwhile child then is not grounded. They're stuck in the past. They're also making decisions from past experiences. And that's what trauma does. It makes us, everything's confusion because there's no ground. We don't understand why our parent is acting the way that they are. We don't understand why our life is so difficult. But when meanwhile the answers are inside of us, when we honor ourselves by pouring into ourselves, and that's through, you know, finding ourselves, having a love affair with ourselves, investing in ourselves to fully know what we can have and what we can't have, then, we're not going to abandon ourselves. Disassociation is the fact that there was fragmentation from that trauma that you didn't remember. So you don't remember aspects of it or how you contribute to the karmic cycle of self-sabotage. But what I see here is that you broke that karmic cycle because you did not give your time to this person, and that's because you grew up in an environment where you already were neglected. So you are hypersensitive to it. So you already learned that you can't make a person love you. You tried to do that in the past, Spirit says. So you had to still ground the spiritual lesson, which means go through the experience again, but handling it differently. So you could see a different consciousness. So you can see, again, no one can do anything. They can't sabotage you. You sabotage yourself when you get caught up in what somebody else thinks about you. Again, because you're not what someone else thinks, you're yourself, and the truth will always come out. Sometimes people need to, you know, time. Time is what heals. relationships happen over time. And what we see here is when you're stuck with a person that doesn't really want to give any time to anything, right? Then it's like, who wants it? Nobody wants that, to be in a relationship like that. So we have to say again, what are we supposed to do with the energy? Well, Spirit says, first and foremost, it's to live authentically, boldly, unafraid to be yourself. Live out loud, meaning be true to yourself. Let your spirit guide you. Go out into the world, find yourself, have a love affair with yourself. Let spirit guide you through your gut, intuition, and knowing when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Have an idea of what you like and what you don't like. And spirit will make a way where there is no way just for you. You actually have limitless potential. The only limits are you. Again, through your thoughts, you're divinely protected. Again, that God is everywhere, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscience. It's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. Yeah, and you are divinely protected. No one can hurt you, no one can stop you. So take that bold action, take steps that put you out of your comfort zone. Just remember, act decisively. That's a grounding thing. Again, make sure that you're paying attention to, what it is that you're doing. And that means every thing that we do should benefit everyone that's involved, right? It shouldn't just benefit us. Like that's greedy, that's one-sided, that's an imbalance. So we always want to do things that are morally correct when we're walking in alignment with that God part of self. We're embodying that consciousness. Spirit does the rest. The universe does the rest. It brings you the people, the situations, and the experiences that you have to deal with. And sometimes it's hard to be ethical, to be honest with you. Again, the ego will want to tell that person to go F off, and so we have to realize we have to have discernment. But Spirit says, know that you're on the right path. You just have to, the path unfolds while you're on it. And Spirit says, I never tell you in advance. I will not tell you in advance because only in the now do I give you divine guidance. You say, why won't you tell me in advance, like how things are going to happen? And Spirit says, you'd get to in your own way. It's like, again, you would say, well, now I want to, you'd overthink it when it's again natural when we're manifesting. We're just going with the flow of life, kind of like that dance, right? That first and second chakra will work really close together. We're able to go with the flow of life through the passion for life. We're not controlling anything. Spirit says, let go of the need to control. Surrender to the process. That this is part of your process. You might say, I don't like the process. I don't like what it looks like. And then the spirit may say, well, why don't you like what it looks like? And you might say, because Mary Jane, like, was at the club and that person was mean. And so I feel like I shouldn't be there. And so Spirit says, everything that I bring you is a test. Everything is an experience, and it's how you deal with that experience. So again, the key is to do things differently, not to react, but to act decisively. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Live boldly and out loud. Don't dim your light, but you're on your soul's calling. It's about listening to the whispers of yourself. That higher self, align your actions with your values. And that's what I was saying earlier. And, you know, you don't need to raise your voice or be anything except for, true to yourself. And that's what speaks volumes, right? That we don't get caught up in other people's drama. We don't try and change people. We don't try and make people see things from our way. We let the unfoldment process happen and understand whatever is happening because of experiences that have previously affected you most of the time with the trauma that plays out, the karmic lessons. So it's about becoming the witness to how we react, to how we respond. So Spirit says always take time out. Where was that? It was sort before, and it was take time out to meditate, to connect to your higher self. We have to do that. Otherwise, what happens is you can get caught up in the energies of the outside world. So we want to be able to tap into that part of ourself that helps us to really, it's all about ascending life, right? It's all about letting go of who you were to become who you are, because we can't just get rid of, negative energy. And everybody has negative energy. It's just psychological and emotional, held in the body as stress due to the experiences that we went through and being stuck in that perception. We think because the experience is over that the energy is gone. It's not. What'll happen is the experience will continue to play out just with different people in new scenarios, which is what solidifies that core belief that makes us perceive, hey, there's something wrong with me. And Spirit says, there's nothing wrong except for when you try to create your life from the outside. It's you create your life from the inside, like you change inside of you. When you have fragmentation, it means that you have detached and disassociated from aspects of yourself, which you don't like, you don't understand. It just seems like it doesn't work. And understand it's not working the way that you're doing it. You know, because there's many different realities that play it at one time. You're the alchemist of your life. You can change your life, like in this story the person is like learned the karmic lesson because they didn't go with that person because that person was neglecting them, not treating them well because of their imbalanced life that they're living had nothing to do with you or if it wasn't you the person in the story. It had everything to do with their life and how they feel about themselves, and their life is a reflection of that. So we tend to take on the energies of what somebody else does, and that is how we begin to get a perception of ourself, which is a lot of times isn't true. Someone else's perception is their perception. It's not the truth. And a lot is, built on perception. It's background, it's culture, it's race, it's religion, it's all things that are outside. But when the spirit, it's all about what you feel, nothing else. It's what you feel. That clairsentience is connected to that claircognizance, which is, I just know. And that's the spirit. It comes on randomly, it's connected to your intuition, and it's that's that connection. And Spirit says, now it's time. Shine your light. Your desire to improve yourself, transform fear into strength. Raise your thoughts above doubt and find faith in the goodness of the universe. Love and accept yourself as a soul and discover the light that dwells within inside of you. So Spirit says there was fragmentation there. And that's at this time, it's not to be with anyone, it's to find those things that need to be those talents, those hobbies, those interests, those passions. Feed those things. Spirit says, feed those things because they'll blossom. They'll make a way where there is no way. And the passion for life is what you'll be in. And that's when you're connected to God. That's when you're connected to the people in the universe because you're the energy of love. And I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.